There is nothing more challenging than when you have designed and built one of the most popular three-row SUVs in North America than to follow up with an even better second act. But that is exactly what Hyundai needed to do with the 2026 Palisade. What they've done, though, is even better than a great second act. What they've created is a three-row SUV that is better than many of its competitors in many ways. However, better is in the eye of the beholder. So I'm going to show you what the third row is like. It's bigger than the outgoing Palisade. What the second row is like. The seats are more functional, but there is a caveat. And what you're going to find in the front seat of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. Before I take you on that little tour, though, let me share these facts. There are three different versions, essentially. There is the gas-powered version, which is what we're driving. There is an XRT version, which is the off-road capable Hyundai Palisade. We're going to take a little tour of that, and also I'm going to take you on the off-road course. And then coming later in 2025, we will find a Hyundai Palisade hybrid, the first ever. That one promises more power, 329 horsepower versus about 260 in this one, and it promises 34 mpg versus about 22 in this one. There are some things that are the same, even though this is completely redesigned. It has basically the same engine as the outgoing model. It has all the things that you expect from Hyundai, including BlueLink, the drive modes, all of the Hyundai safety systems that we know and love so well, and of course, the price, as ever, is really good. And then I'm going to take you on a little drive in the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. This, of course, is the gas-powered version. And I apologize, it's already dusty. We are out here in beautiful Southern California. We're actually in the Palisade Mountains, which is the perfect place to take the Hyundai Palisade for a test drive. Be sure to follow along on all of our social channels. There's a link below to our newsletter. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. And when you see a link pop up here, click it. We put it there because you're going to like it. So the first thing that you're going to notice in the Hyundai Palisade for 2026 are these really cool lights. So this is actually a flat panel. There are light bulbs in here. This, however, is etched metal that has lights behind it. Think of this as a light fixture you might have in your home that's frosted or that has some sort of ceramic coating on the outside. You put the bulb on the inside and you get all of that beautiful effect from, say, a Murano glass or something like that. That's exactly what Hyundai did with these daytime running lights. And that's how they're able to get this really beautiful stacked light effect here. And then we have our bright lights and our headlights here. There also is a light bar that spans the entire front of the Hyundai Palisade's grille. This is a totally new look for the Hyundai Palisade. It has this very flat, linear front grille. It is a gas-powered car, so it does need that large air intake, and they are able to accommodate that, but still give us this flat grille that almost looks like they're electric cars. And in fact, there are a lot of details on the outside and on the inside that are similar to Hyundai's EVs because it is a very unified design language. Also here on the front, you'll see the Hyundai badge here, and then there's a nice large lower intake here, and then there's a panel that has a lot of the mechanics, electronics in here for sensing objects and adaptive cruise control and things like that. But come with me, I want to show you what you're going to see around the side of the Hyundai Palisade. So the scale is bigger and it's bolder than it has been in the past. It's actually a little bit taller. It's about 2.5 inches, almost 3 inches longer in all, and it's a tiny bit wider. And what they've done is they've added more interior space for passengers. They've widened the wheelbase, so the wheels are a little closer to the rear and a little closer to the front. And they've added some really nice panels here. We'll see on the XRT edition that these side panels are even more accentuating of the overall shape and design of the Hyundai Palisade. Then we have these really large wheels. We're driving the Calligraphy, so we have these really beautiful, ornate wheel designs on our version. Our version is all chrome, but the XRT and some of the other models have these surrounds and this pillar in black, which is my preference. I love those blacked out details. What else will you see on the rear of the Palisade? First of all, our taillights very much mimic the headlights. It has that same sort of stacked lighting display here, lighting design here. You'll see our rear view camera here, and this is not just a rear view camera, this is also our rear view mirror view. So we're able to see everything behind the car with a digital rear view mirror. You'll see the Palisade name spelled out across, and then you'll see this, the H-Track badge. And when you see that H-Track badge, you know that you have power to every wheel when you need it. One of the coolest things in the Hyundai Palisade is the cargo area. So this, of course, if you're driving a 3-row SUV, this is a really important detail for you. How much space do we have in the cargo area? Behind the 3rd row, Hyundai says there is 19 cubic feet of cargo space. But is there? Well, actually, there's more, because there is a panel of buttons here that allow you to push the 3rd row seat forward. So you can actually push it forward quite a bit. And if you push both 3rd row seats forward, you actually add a whole cubic foot of space. You take that cubic measurement to over 20 cubic feet of space. There is a little panel here. We actually have a little bit more storage underneath the cargo floor, so I'm not sure if that's included in that 19 cubic feet. Whether it is or it isn't, it's great to have. The buttons on this rear panel, though, do a lot of other things. You can push these seats down. It will push the seat all the way back before it pushes it down, or I can use this button to put the seat back up, and I can use this button to position it. So if I don't want the seats all the way fully reclined, I can stop it, or I can use the button to recline the seat just a little bit more. That's a really nice detail. I can also fold all the seats flat or raise them up using the buttons on this panel. Hey Jana.
Hi.
So I have a question for you. Fan or not a fan of the cloud sofa?
I'm a fan.
You're a fan. I'm a fan too. So just in case you might be going, cloud sofa, what is that? That is like the inspo sofa of the era. It is elegant, it is comfortable, it has those deep seats where you can slide way back and really curl up and watch a movie or stretch out. It's modular, so you can make it an L shape or a U shape or just a standard sofa shape. But you'll see these, that is the inspo, is the cloud sofa. And you know why I'm asking you about that?
I don't.
I feel like I'm in the cloud sofa in this car. It reminds me of the cloud sofa. And it's the white, we have the white interior, it's beautiful white interior here, but also these rounded surfaces, no sharp edges, the floating center console here, the beautiful white upholstery here on the ceiling with the really beautiful panoramic sunroof. What do you think?
I really like it. This area is user-friendly because it's usually a dumping ground. It's a dumping ground, you throw whatever in there. And I'm always getting in the car with a handful of items, but the way this, we used to call it a pass-through, but now that it's a little more open, it's just a huge storage area under here.
So what did you think about driving the Hyundai Palisade, Jana?
I enjoy it. It feels like home to me. It's comfortable. It does.
It is comfortable. I really like this interior. I really like the interior. Did you drive it in sport mode yet?
No, I've kept this one in normal.
Well, just put it in sport and it like gives you a little kickback. You feel it. You feel it kick into sport. I like that.
I do too.
Yeah. On the highway, I felt like when I floored it, it waited too long. Like I floored it to pass, and it like, I think it like counted to 3 or something first. You know, a lot of cars do that, and maybe it's because it just has to. Well, they call that. I also think sometimes it has to make an adjustment to the transmission. So for a car that has a transmission, it has to do that. If you're in an EV, there is no transmission, so there's no adjustment to make. It just does its thing.
Instant excitement.
Yes. And I think I'm spoiled by that. But I'm going to say this feels pretty good. It got a lot of pickup. It does it feel big to you?
Not too big. It feels roomy and sizable. I like it, but I don't feel like I'm dominating the road. The other thing I really have enjoyed, I don't know how many, we've separated and done labs together, apart with other people. Every seat is good. Yeah. I sat in the 2nd row, I was very comfortable. 3rd row, very comfortable. I feel like no seat was forgotten.
Yeah, I thought the 3rd row was quite comfortable actually. And I enjoyed, once I put the seat back, I'm gonna say if you've got taller passengers, push that seat back and you'll have plenty of space. Inside the front cabin of the Hyundai Palisade, it is quite the respite. Now, it is a hot, sunny day out, and I needed to be indoors in the air conditioning, and this is the place I want to be. So when I get into the Hyundai Palisade, I can drop my phone right there, I can drop my key right there, and I can drop my handbag right here on this little tray right underneath this floating center console. I love this design. This is what a car cabin should feel like. It should feel open, it should feel airy, and it should feel elegant. And if you're thinking, elegant in a 3-row family SUV? Oh yeah, this is the calligraphy edition, and what Hyundai told us is that people really wanted more. They wanted Napa leather seating surfaces, they wanted beautiful design, they want to feel as good in their car as they do in their living room, and that was the goal behind the design of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. It starts with the steering wheel, and when you sit in the driver's seat and look at the steering wheel, you see some of those details that harken from Hyundai's unified design language that brings the electric car design into their gas-powered car. Here you'll see the 4 dots, which is Morse code for the letter H, right here across the center of the steering wheel. Also on the steering wheel, you'll find that our driver assist systems are over here, as is the driver display option. So you can just tap this little button and it will allow you to scroll through different driver displays. So you can set up things how you would like on the driver screen. Over here is where you will find our entertainment function. So the volume button is there. I can change the radio station and things like that here. It's a really nice modern looking and modern feeling steering wheel in the Hyundai Palisade. You'll see our gear selectors right here. This is where we find the stop start button, and this is where we're going to put it in drive or put it in reverse to drive. We also have our windshield wipers here, our turn signals, and our light controls here. We've got a few controls over here on the lower left. I love this detail. There is a reflective mirror or a digital rear view mirror. This gives you a digital view behind the car. When you have a car full of people in all those seats back there, you need a digital view so you can really see what is going on behind the car. And then we've got this nice control panel here. One of the things that they've done is they've added a physical control panel for climate down here. So this is where you'll find temperature settings and fan speed, and then be able to turn on and off your heated and vented seats. That's not the only place you can do it, but this is one of the places you can do that. And then we also have a panel here. They've moved some of these buttons away from a central panel, so the ones that the driver needs are right here, and then there's some additional buttons, the ones you won't need all the time, like your camera, quick access to your camera, downhill descent, and then your park sensor are over there. We have our fast access buttons here, and then we also have a tuning and volume dial for the radio. I want you to notice how this design is almost like a piece of furniture here in the front of the car, and it's fit into the front of the car. It's curved on either side, and then it extends out a little bit over the dash so you don't get glare. It is a bright sunny day, and I have not had any glare on that front screen at all, which has been kind of a nice detail. We have our multimedia system here. I can scroll through and find the features I want. I can leave it on the main screen where I've got my Apple CarPlay, my maps, and then I can customize what I'd like to see there. I can set up my driver profile settings there. And then if I want to see other things, I can either tap through to go to those, or I can go to tap the little home button and come back to these. I can also access that screen by tapping this button here on this control panel. And if there's something I want to set up to access really quickly, I can set it up using this little star button there. My favorite feature on this system, though, is this. Hey Hyundai, set the cabin temperature to low. This is a feature that I am really excited about, voice-activated assistance. This is something we have seen roll out in expensive cars over the last few years, but now Hyundai is adding it to all the cars in its lineup, and the 2026 Palisade has it. So you can just say, hey Hyundai, and the system is there to set the cabin temperature, set the radio station, find navigation. There will be other things. You'll be able to order a Starbucks and have it paid for and drive up and grab it without ever touching your phone. And that is a quality of life I can get behind. They don't do that yet, but that will be in the future. The voice-activated assistant system is generative AI. So it's using AI to listen to you and to understand what it is that you want and need and help you out while you're driving. You don't take your hands off the wheel to use the system. But if you do look down, you will notice that the logo lights up when the system is active. Hey Hyundai, it's listening. Change the cabin temperature to 62 degrees. See these lights? That's telling us that the system is listening. And then when it's done doing what it's doing, it goes back to blank light. How great is that? I love that. I just love that. The calligraphy edition that we're driving has head-up display. And I would think that the head-up display controls would be here on the steering wheel. They're actually not. They're actually right here. Once you set up your head-up display, it should be sort of set it and forget it. And where you'll find it is over here under cluster and head-up display. So cluster meaning driver display, is here, and this is where you can customize a few things here, and then you can also customize your head-up display. You can decide which information you want to be displayed. If you want turn-by-turn directions in the head-up display, you can get it. If you don't, you can turn that off. You can actually turn it all off, so you're not getting anything if that's how you would. If you don't want the head-up display, you can turn it all off, and then you won't see it. And then here is our driver display. But I'm going to show you another thing that I really love here on this system. One is Alexa, so I can actually sign up for my Alexa account, and I can connect with Alexa for all the things that we love from Alexa. Another thing that I'll show you is that you can turn on or off your voice activation. So I did say, hey Hyundai, and it knew to listen to me, but I have it turned off. If I don't want it, I can turn it off. So if your kids are driving you crazy by asking the system to do things, you just pop in there under voice settings and turn it off, and it won't happen anymore. Or if you're busy talking about Hyundai all day long and it keeps coming on, well, you can turn off your wake word. It also will tell you here what to say, that it says, say Hyundai, hey Hyundai, to activate the system. You can also make it a little more sensitive or a little less sensitive. So that's a nice way to be able to customize that system a little more. Another feature that I want to show you is over here. This is amazing. So we have heated seats in the second row and the third row in this car. But in addition to turning on the heated seat, I can set up walk-in mode, which means that the seats will be in a certain position. Maybe when you open the door, the second row seat will move forward automatically to allow access to the third row. Relax mode will allow the seats to recline. I can set the seat back recline, and I can move the center seats forward or back. I love that. I can do much of that for the third row as well. All of that right here on the center screen is a really amazing feature. So when you're picking up those kids after school and you're in the carpool lane and everybody's moving really quickly, you don't have to get out of the car to move those seats. You can just do it right here on the screen while you're inching up, inching. You don't have to put the car in park and fix those seats. You can do it right here, and that's a nice. To the right of the air vents and these quick access buttons, there is hill descent control. Here's our parking sensor, and this is our camera system. And I love having that there. I don't need it all the time, but when it's there, it's nice to have. But over here on the left side, these are three functions that you're going to love as a driver. The first thing is auto hold. So I can tap auto hold, and then when the car is in drive and I have hit the brake all the way to as far as it'll go, this car will stay in that position and it won't creep forward or move forward until I tap the accelerator. I love auto hold. I also have a drive terrain button, so I can tap this to toggle between my drive modes and my terrain modes. So my terrain modes are snow, mud, and sand, and my drive modes are eco, normal, sport, and then my drive, which is my customization. So once I've chosen which I want, drive or terrain, then I can toggle through and put the car in different drive modes. And actually I should probably have it over here in sand because we are on some sandy roads. It won't make the sand kick up any less, but it will give us more traction on roads or trails that maybe are a little more slippery and a little less sure-footed. You'll have that sure-footedness when you have it in sand mode. The furniture-inspired design of the Hyundai Palisade starts with this dashboard, which is almost credenza-inspired. Think of it as like a piece of furniture that you would have in your living room. It might hold a television. In this case, it holds the windshield and the view ahead of you. We have our screen here. We have this really beautiful space here. And then we have really beautiful finishes. And I can't say enough about this one. So we have this sort of light gray interior. There's fabric here. There's the leatherette here. And then there is this textured wood that it's tinged with like a gray or a blue striations. It is so gorgeous. It's just this tiny little piece, and it adds just an amazing amount of elegance because you see it every time you get in the car and you think, wow, that is so beautiful. I just don't get tired of looking at it. You might notice that this maybe looks like a charcoal or like a really dark gray. It's actually navy. And then we have this same cream color here on the ceiling. Altogether, these finishes and details create this amazing furniture-inspired interior. Then, of course, with the furniture-inspired interior are these really beautiful Napa leather seats. Another detail that I really love are these modern minimalist door panels. This is actually the handle here. There's a little bottle pocket in here, but look at this. You have the white panel here. This is cloth, and then there's like white plastic down here, so easily cleanable. But this is your door panel. and there's ambient light inside and a place to grab. The driver's seat does have ergo motion, which is quasi massage, not really massage, but it does sort of move the seat around underneath you a little bit using air bladders. So it sort of inflates and deflates in certain places, your lumbar, and that makes sure that you've got plenty of blood flow to the driver when you're on a long drive. The Hyundai Palisade has something called relaxation seats. You just press this button and the seat will move forward. The seat will move back, and then you can push this and it will extend a leg rest. So you can recline this seat back and enjoy a relaxing nap. You'll also notice here between the two front seats is this floating center console. So it's got this sort of carve out here, which is where you'll find the cup holders. There is a button here for our UV cleaner. I'll show you that. And then there are two USB ports here that are charging only. This is a maximum of 100 watts of charging. So if you plug in two, you'll get 50 watts each. If you plug in one, you get all 100 watts. And what that means is your phone will charge fast. Over here, you'll notice there's a USB icon here. And what that means is this is the one that you will use to connect your phone to the multimedia system if you would like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. However, once you've connected that once, you can use it wirelessly thereafter. It now has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There is a butterfly style center console here. It's not a large center console, but it does have a nice amount of space. And you'll see these lights here embedded in the side. This is the UV cleaner. So if I put something in, I have to close it for them to activate. But if I put something in here, like my phone needs to be cleaned up a little bit, I can put that in there. I can tap this button. You'll see that light comes on. And now my phone is being cleaned by ultraviolet light. When my phone is done cleaning and it needs to charge, I can put it right down here on this pad. This is a wireless phone charger, and it's a nice function because I can put it there. It's a nice large space. The battery on my phone turns green and this light comes on to show that my phone is charging. So behind the wheel of the Hyundai Palisade, we are in the internal combustion engine version, gas only, not the hybrid. So 260-ish horsepower, good power. I'm gonna say wait for the hybrid, it's a lot more power. It may end up being a lot more money, but this is not a hugely expensive car as it is, so it's probably going to be worthwhile. I have really enjoyed the responsiveness. I like the tuning and suspension, meaning that it feels good on the road. It's a really nice, quiet cabin. The ride quality is really good. Hyundai has all that down, and that's something that I do really appreciate in this car. Even on the curvy roads we've been on today, and some of them kind of bumpy, it's been a pretty good ride. It doesn't feel overly huge. It feels like a nice, you do know that there's a third row back there, and that's not, it's not disguising itself as a compact sedan or anything, but it does feel pretty good. You don't feel overly sized. I don't feel like I'm driving a truck. I do feel like I'm driving a mid-size SUV. All right, there we go, accelerating up the hill. Woo! You hear it a little bit. It's not super quiet, and it's not the most sophisticated engine, but it's great for a car this size. The extra 2.5 inches that Hyundai added to the wheelbase is found right back here in the passenger cabin. Not only that, but Hyundai has really worked hard to make these seats very configurable. You like to move the furniture around in your living room to make everyone comfortable? You can do that in your car too. It starts with this, and I'm going to show you. This is the power forward slide and tilt center row seat. Now, this is designed to work with a child passenger car seat installed to give you even better access to the third row, to climb into the third row. Then you can push this button to put it back into place when you're done. Or you can use the function on the touchscreen in the front. There are power controls here on the side of the seat, including if I would like to move this seat forward, I can push this button on the side. And then I can push this button on the side to move the seat back. And then there's another button that allows me to push this seat even further back. And then there's a button here that I can use to recline the seat, and it reclines back pretty nicely. The slide and tilt center row seats will still slide and tilt if there is a full-size person. And I'm going to show you, if you were sitting in this chair, now I don't have the seatbelt buckled. If I buckle the seatbelt, it won't work. But watch this and watch my knees. It's a little scary, and my knees are going to really cram hard. Look at that. Okay, I had to stop because
It was still gonna go?
yeah.
Okay, so it just sensed that it was too much and it's going back
No,
on.
I pushed the button again.
Oh.
And I don't love this. If you are going to put kids in the third row and you're going to have people sitting in the seat who, I don't know, I really don't think this is, I have to say, until they fix this, I would not put children in this seat. I would not put anybody in the seat when there's the possibility that somebody can hit this button,
And get
whether
crushed.
they mean to or not, and get crushed. Yeah, I
I
mean,
see
it's like,
sibling
it's not,
rivalry going nuts right
it's
now.
not stopping. It's not stopping, Jana. It's not stopping. Look at this. Can you see the indentations on my knees?
Oh, I
Look at
can't,
that.
Actually, you're not being dramatic. It's yikes.
Yeah. So all the other trims, other than calligraphy, the function is mechanical, not electronic, and that is really the way to go. If you're going to put kids in the rear seat of this car, the mechanical, get the limited. The limited is, I think, the way to go. Because I think until they fix this, I think it's too dangerous. All that aside, let's talk about what else you get here in the center row of the Hyundai Palisade. So we have captain's chairs in our configuration. Bench chairs or bench seating is an option if you need 3 seats across. There is a household outlet here. Hyundai went with a household outlet that's nicely placed right here in the center console. There is a drawer here where you can store things underneath the center console. And I love this round design or this sort of oval design and how it's all upholstered. It looks really elegant. And then there are USB ports. There's one here and one here. So there's one on either seat. And then true to Hyundai, there are controls here so you can move this front seat forward or back based on what it is you want and need as a rear seat passenger. But let's talk about what it's like to put child passenger car seats in the Hyundai Palisade, because as we know, that is the real magic here. And Hyundai has made sure that you have a lot of options. So first of all seats move forward and back, even the third row, so you have some flexibility there. And then these seats are positioned to give you the maximum amount of space. So this one is pretty far back. This one is set for me, I'm 5'8", and I have about 35 inches seat back to seat back. We need a minimum of about 29 inches between these two seats, so that gives you a lot of space for a rear-facing child passenger car seat. With a rotating seat, so it's rear-facing when you need it, but forward-facing to get the child out of the seat, you will have no problem reaching the third row using this pass-through. If you needed to move the seat a little bit closer, say you wanted to move the baby in the baby bucket a little bit closer, this is about as far as you're going to go. So it's not super close, but it's nice. And I'm going to still have plenty of legroom here, with legroom for third row passengers, and this seat all the way forward, I still have a lot of legroom as a second row passenger. So that's another thing I appreciate. What else do I appreciate? There is a climate control panel right here above. We have heated and vented seats in the second row because we're in the calligraphy edition. And then I can set my temperature, I can set the fan speed, and I can push the button for voice activated assistance, or I can just say, hey, you know who, and then the system is there to help me out. Another feature that we have that I really like is right here, and that is the window screen. So I can put up a nice window screen here over the rear windows for passengers who maybe don't want the paparazzi taking their photo while they're driving backwards in their rear-facing child car seat. But as we know, the real measure is getting in and out of the third row using the slide and tilt center row seats. So these seats are designed to slide and tilt forward and to function with a child passenger car seat installed. There is a nice little grab bar over here too. So you actually have 2 places to put your hands to hoist yourself into the third row. And how are we doing back here? Well, I'm going to say it's pretty comfortable. It's really elegant. We have a panoramic sunroof here, so I do appreciate that. We do have our buttons here on either panel. We have third row heated seats, which is amazing. So if you've got adults back here who are complaining because they're a little cold, don't tell them about the heat. Tell them just turn on the heated seats. We also have a button here that allows us to push the seat forward or back and recline these seats. I have 2. I mean, these seats go pretty far back. That's pretty amazing. These seats go really far back. There are 2 cup holders on either side. There are 2 USB ports. And most important, there are air vents here in the ceiling so everybody can stay cool and have air blowing on them. No smelly lacrosse players in the third row of your Hyundai Palisade. Isn't that a great thing? Spending the morning driving the Calligraphy edition, which is the top of the line of the Hyundai Palisade for 2026. Now we get to drive the XRT. This is also a new trim for 2026. XRT is Hyundai's off-road designation, and this car is designated for the off-road. I'm going to take you on a little tour. I'm going to show you why, and I'm also going to show you some interior details that are more like what you would find in the SEL, the Limited, and some of the other not top-of-the-line editions of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. Now, you will have to pardon all the dirt on this car because it has been off-roading. They have taken us out on an off-road course today to let us see exactly what the Hyundai Palisade XRT edition is capable of doing. But before I head out, I'm going to take this extremely dirty car and I'm going to show you what makes this off-road capable. Now you'll notice it also has a nice flat wide grille, the same as the Calligraphy edition. It has the same headlights and it has that same light bar across the front. You'll notice that the grille is wide open. It's a wider lattice work across the front. It is to optimize air intake, and you'll see there's even that lattice work here along the bottom. The Calligraphy edition is a little more elegant. This is a little more rugged. We have these orange recovery hooks here and here on the front of the Hyundai Palisade XRT edition. What else designates it as the XRT edition? Well, you'll notice there are XRT wheel caps there, and then that lattice work, sort of almost like a basket weave, is seen there on the wheels. And notice that it's black in the center and then it has white on the edges. Looks really nice. That is a really nice detail. We also have cladding over the wheels there, and then we have this very distinct lower rocker panel here. This is what's going to protect the underbody of the car and your paint from flying rocks and gravel and things like that. We even have little mud flaps right there to keep mud from the underside. You'll see the XRT logo here. And then, as much as I would love to show you some of the details here on the rear of the Palisade, mostly you're just going to see dirt. That's because this has been off-roading quite a lot today. But you can see there are the recovery hooks and the XRT Pro badge right there on the rear. But how is the XRT Pro different inside? Well, let me show you that too. In our XRT edition, we have center row captain's chairs as we had in the Calligraphy. These are the black leatherette. That's what they're specifying in the XRT edition. There are 4 different interiors. There are 2 light colored. There's leather that's light or black, and there is that really beautiful brown or sort of saddle colored leather. This one, because it's XRT and they're assuming that you're going out and getting everything dirty, that you'll want black. Not my favorite, but it is pretty nice, and it is leatherette, and that's what you want in a car like this, that you're going to put it through its paces. You want it to be able to clean up pretty easily. So I do like that. But what we don't have are all the fancy push button seats that we saw in the Calligraphy. Let me show you how these center row seats function. Of course, you can use the pass-through here to get to the 3rd row, but if you go with a bench in any of the other trims outside of Calligraphy, this is how you're going to access the 3rd row. So there is a tab here that you can pull to lay the seat flat. You can push the button right here on the side, and it does a mechanical slide and tilt forward, which means that it releases and slides. It is not electric. It just lets the mechanism go, and then the seat slides forward sort of in a spring type motion. What that means is you can do this with a car seat installed. You cannot do it with more than a minimum amount of weight in the seat, or maximum amount of weight in the seat. So let me show you, because when I sit in the seat, and notice that I am not wearing a seatbelt, if I push this button, I feel the mechanical release, but the seat does not push forward. It doesn't move at all. If you are putting kids in all 3 rows and you're going to put car seats in this car, in fact, honestly, of all of them, this is the one I recommend. If you're going to put kids in these seats or passengers in these seats at all, this is the one that I recommend, is go with the XRT or the Limited, one of the other trims outside of Calligraphy, so you don't have the electric powered seats. It might be a little bit more work, but it is definitely safer for everyone sitting in the center row. So it's really hot and I am enjoying this air, and that's something I'm going to say has been true all day long. I really enjoyed this. These vents are right here. They're easy to grip. They're easy to find in all versions. We're in the XRT, but it's the same in the Calligraphy or any of them. And it's really nice to just point the air right at you and be able to have it right on you. I really do like the air vents in this car. There are 4 in the ceiling, 2 here and 2 there, so everybody has air. What is different in the XRT edition, in addition to all of the off-road equipment? Well, really not that much. Like the Calligraphy, we have our drive modes, our terrain and our drive modes are the same, and those are new for the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. And then we have that underbody camera that comes on at less than 6 miles an hour. So if you're in terrain mode and you're going less than 6 miles an hour, the camera comes on. It's right there. We had downhill descent control in all of the cars, and then we have auto hold, terrain mode, so you can see the different views. And then when you're driving, it will give you, in terrain mode, it will give you an undercarriage view as well, which I really, really like. There is trailer mode, and there is a built-in trailer hitch underneath the rear bumper. You can put it in trailer mode, and then you can add a trailer, and you can use the default, or you can customize your settings however you would like. There are checklists, there are settings here, so you can really factor in whatever it is you need to factor in for trailering. And there's pre-wired brake control, so you can plug in your trailer into the Hyundai Palisade and everything is ready to go. The XRT also has off-road mode, and what this is a menu of selections, so I can see all of my off-road settings. I can see I'm in terrain mode, I'm in snow mode, I can see my battery voltage, I can see my oil pressure, oil temperature, these details over here. I can see the pitch and roll, so I can see how level the car is with the ground. I can swipe over here, and here is my compass, here is my ground view, and here is my surround view. So as I drive, I will see the ground underneath my car. Now when I get over 6 miles an hour, it goes away, but when I get below 6 miles an hour, it returns, the view returns. The system wants me looking at the road if I'm going faster than 6 miles an hour. And what this does is it uses all the cameras to basically record what the ground is like underneath the car, and then give me that image as I'm driving slowly over the trail. If I'm driving over rocks or on a rutted road or someplace where I really need to see what's underneath my tires and between them, this is a really great thing to have. Now, in order to get this, you might see that there is the camera view here. That's not what you need. What you need is to be in terrain mode and tap that off-road setting here on the center screen, and that's where you're going to have this ground view video between the wheels and underneath the Hyundai Palisade XRT. Up, and it went away because I'm going too fast, but if I slow down, the view returns. I can even see that gentleman walking in front of me, and I can see the cones on the ground, and I can see to drive between them. How great is that? Let's go, girls. That's a funny way to start the off-road portion of this drive. We have seen the exterior of the Hyundai Palisade XRT. It is designed for off-road driving, and so now we're going to take it out on the trail and put it to the test. Here we go on the off-road portion. I'm going to go through this narrow little fence here. Follow the trail. You should see most of what I'm seeing. You can see the hood. You can also see that drop-off over there where the trail drops off. It's not a huge drop off, but it's more than you want to experience in a, whatever this is, 6,000-pound SUV. So our spotter now is telling me to come down here. Whoa! Oh my god. You guys, wait, you guys, I gotta show you this. Look at that. Right there is where I go off into that big gully. Can you believe that? And there's nothing but a big old wall behind me. Oops, and now he's telling me to turn my wheels sharply. And here we go. Alrighty, thank you, my friend. And here we go. That is a tight turn. That was quite a tight turn. Before I make this turn, I just want to show you guys. So that is the gully over there. That is a valley. And then that is the lake, and the road was right up here along the lake. If we had missed a turn, we would be in the drink, as they say. Okay, so we're in mud mode. This is just loose gravel, this road. Crazy, so watch the horizon because you're going to see this car going up and down. Whoa! Oh my god. Look at these rocks, you guys. So this is not like, well, first of all, I do need my camera to get through. You can see right there. Scrape my wheels. I do not want to flat tire. Now for the rocky portion of our drive. Woo! This is the kind of rocky road that makes you really want to move. It's been a great day out here in California driving the 2026 Hyundai Palisade. It is fantastic on the road. It's a really quiet ride. It is fun in sport mode. It's also fun on the off-road. Kind of surprising considering this is a three-row family-focused SUV. With a starting price of under $40,000 and an all-in top-of-the-line calligraphy at under $55,000, the Hyundai Palisade still represents one of the best values for family cars on the road. The only question you're going to find yourself asking, do I buy this one or do I wait for the hybrid? 329 horsepower and 34 mpg? That is quite the conundrum.